Alone with Her is a fine example of the current thinning of our collective blood, the watering down of our appetites as makers and purveyors of art. There can be a joy in the celebration of horror, the abandon of film as an art that taps our animal thirsts. By that measure, this film is joyless. As children, our impulses lead us everywhere, and there's no evil in it, only curiosity. That great line overlord of our species, civilization, demands that you renounce these natural thirsts and shackles your ankle with guilt lest you should wander too far from the polite norm, where all the happy normal people are gathered doing happy polite things. In exchange for your service, civilization provides a few consolation prizes. One of these is art, and somewhere down the branching of art's many tributaries there is a vein called exploitation, a joyous and reckless train wreck of sex and violence that is also irreverent and insightful, gleefully spray-painting a big bullseye over our hypocrisies, and when we stammer clumsily searching for a rebuttal, suggests solutions of the most grotesque absurdity. Jonathan Swift suggesting the starving Irish eat their babies and so forth. Yes, I think the heart of exploitation is satire, but only if the creator, and therefore the creation, is totally, dangerously irresponsible. Alone with Her is neither dangerous nor irresponsible. It feels like a poser playing timidly at the exploitation game despite a promising, lusty premise. A nerd named Doug with a knack for surveillance gear spots a young woman named Amy in a park and follows her home, then wires her apartment so he can spy on her 24/7 from every room. In no time we are seeing Amy shower and masturbate with a hairbrush while Doug jerks off watching, or so we presume. Details were not made clear, alas. If you find that description offensive, nothing I'm about to say will make any sense to you, so you might as well check out now. Now, there's a plague loose in filmmaking today, and this film, we quickly find, has not escaped infection. The characters reveal themselves to be insufferable bores. They do and say nothing interesting. They meet at coffee shops and order cappuccinos. I believe the phrase skim milk is actually used. There is some talk of a movie that was recently seen, and a band no one has supposedly heard of. Meetings are mentioned, commutes, laptops, cell phones, black and white landscape photography as a hobby. Pink paintings of cartoon characters, also a hobby. More coffee, jogging, brunch. This is the Instagram school of filmmaking. And it only gets worse. Doug, it turns out, just wants a girlfriend. He's that boring. Part of the joy of exploitation is rooting for the bad guys, or at least whatever character is most fucked up. Instead, we get this conformist drip. When Amy starts dating a guy who apparently models for beachwear catalogs, brah, we begin to think we're finally about to see some truly evil voyeuristic shit boil out of Doug, but do we? No. He only connives to keep them apart. Even the villain is a company man, firmly saying no to anything interesting that might happen. Sorry. What about this instead? Doug knows that they're going to have a date night. He goes to the grocery store. He whistles a jaunty tune as he pushes a cart down the aisles, picks up a bottle of wine and a bottle of lube, winks at the skeptical checkout clerk. That night, while Amy and Surfer Boy dine at Amy's apartment, Doug watches, toasting them on screen as they become more starry-eyed with every glass. There is some flirtatious conversation. Surfer Boy touches Amy's hand gently. She doesn't draw back. Doug shovels a last forkful of hamburger helper and wipes his mouth with a napkin. Time for the lube. The action on screen moves to the bedroom. Long kisses, wandering hands. Surfer Boy kicks off his board shorts and Amy kneels down for the long, salty meat-sickle. Back in Doug's office, a single self-hating tear rolls down his red and angry cheek. There is a relaxed pumping motion just below frame. A hand grips a box of tissues. Steady, Doug, steady. Cut to Amy's apartment the next day while she's at work. Doug has broken in and stands at the bedside, weeping silently. He fingers the stiff, encrusted bedsheets. Briefly, we see the Surfer Boy's grinning mug in night vision, balls slapping away on Amy's ass. Doug's fist clenches. We'll get him, Doug. We'll get them all. So sue me. I'm a fucking weirdo, a psycho. This is how my imagination runs away with me during one of these things. But isn't that the point? It's a guilty pleasure, or it's supposed to be. Alone with Her fails in every way to capitalize on its potential. I mean, by God, do these filmmakers not understand the sacred marching orders of exploitation? To make us squirm, leap up, pace, yell out, and howl with horror and laughter at all the heinous shit that's going on. We do get killings eventually, but they're not interesting because blah, 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 you've seen all this before, and we really have here, at day's end, a Lifetime movie with nudity. I concluded long ago and remain convinced that an artist is a criminal at heart and should rejoice in this, even if he must do so privately in a closet, far from the reach of conformist public that would judge him a pervert and throw him in jail while simultaneously getting a thrill from the work he produces. If you'll allow me a bit more bullshit here, I think films like Alone with Her show just how thoroughly we as a public can allow ourselves, yes, even desire, to be brainwashed. Go to work, watch TV, get coffee, have a boy or girlfriend. There is a freedom in unburying the fires and devils we've shoved it way down in the cold, cold earth for the sake of conformity. There is also responsibility. Movies like Alone with Her reveal just how little responsibility or freedom a film can allow itself. So...
It's amazing to me that this director, this was done in 2006. This is the only film he's ever made. I assume, Billy, it's the only film that he's going to be allowed to make.
I really thought I was going to be the middle part of this show, and I feel terrible that I've come in with yet another kick to the nuts.
We go out in the bang, though, Billy. That was quite the celebration.
I knew Paris,
of awfulness.
I knew Joe would write a lovely poetry-laced review of Paris, Texas, and we'd all go out patting each other on the back, tear in our eye.
Oh Jesus! That was an evisceration, I think, would be the poetic term for that.
So that is now my favorite intro ever. I had to mute myself because I was laughing too hard.
I'm looking forward to hearing that with the music playing behind it.
You absolutely have to play some romantic piano music.
It's funny to me, Billy, is that you're watching a movie, but while the movie's playing on your screen, you're just in your own head, you're making another movie about the movie that you're watching on screen.
Well, the thing that disappoints me about this is that the opening maybe 10 minutes or something, I'm like, wow, this is like Takashi Miike level exploitation. He's showing upskirt shots and, there's just, it's insane for the first 10 minutes. And you're like, if this is how this movie opens, I mean, this is going to be a no-holds-barred exploitation movie. And then it just wimps out.
Because there's nothing to work with. And I'm not saying, listen, Colin Hanks he was just in this season 1 of Fargo, which was an extraordinary 10 episodes of television. And he was great.
I think he's a good actor.
And I'm not saying, I am not saying he's a bad actor. But Billy, you're right. There's just nothing to work with here.
It's just it's I don't know. There's an old phrase about having the courage of the knife, but not the blood. It's like you set out, you advertise yourself as a fucked up, voyeuristic exploitation film. So don't chicken out. Fucking go for it, man. It's what you were saying about your the sorority house movie, the Girl House. It's like if you're gonna do it, do it. Don't fucking moralize. Don't pretend that you're making another movie that's a commentary on society's fucked up relationship with technology. Just fucking do what you're supposed to do,
Right. It's I mean this it just doesn't deliver.
He can't get a boner because he feels guilty.
Oh, that was
friend.
But at that point, it's right, Jeremy. It's laughable, isn't it? At that point,
it is.
I mean, if you hadn't laughed already at some at anything previous, at that point, I mean, I know I was just laughing out loud at the end, literally laughing out loud, and that's not, and Joe, that's not what the intention is supposed to be.
No, that's the worst. Is to get an unintentional laugh. I think that is a sure sign of a bad film.
There's no doubt about that.
And it's here's the thing, the sort of context of this movie, I think, is legit. Where people, too many people I know, they have zero social skill in real life. Walking down the street, they don't know how to handle anything, right? Their whole life is seen through a computer screen or a mobile device or something, right? And so, yes, they have problems getting girlfriends or boyfriends or understanding anything that's not 100% politically correct, double-checked and certified politically correct and all this stuff. And so they have a problem with real life. And that could be interesting. I would be into that. but show me something with that then. Do something with that. Show me how this character goes to, like, through some extreme situation, but he's just fucking emo. He's not interesting.
Right.
This is it's kind of funny because it was filmed in San Diego, Billy, and I don't think anything with any edge comes out of that freaking San Diego. It's just like, hey,
Except
man,
Mexican
let's
gangs.
make a movie. Yeah, yes, I get. Well, that's coming from
Yeah.
LA.
Mexico gangs.
I
But
love.
yeah,
They are
Oh,
a very milquetoast batch of
Yeah.
people down there for sure. And God bless it, I love San Diego. I'm from Southern California. It's pretty, but when your cultural call sign is you can't beat the weather, you're playing a losing hand, my friends.
you're just on autopilot, coasting through your days.
Max,
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Oh, sorry.
I was just about to say, I love how Billy brought up Takashi Miike because, one, that guy's probably my favorite filmmaker, but in his films, like, they really stick with you. Like when I watched Visitor Q for the first time,
That's a
that
great one.
I could not stop thinking about that for like 5 days. And when I saw Gozu, I was like, why? Gozu is a film. When I first saw it, I literally just started watching it again right after watching it.
Yeah, that's
And
my favorite Miike film by far, and it's one of my favorite films of all time for sure.
Yeah, same here. And those films really, and that's to me, that's a sign of a really great movie. And this movie just kind of went in one ear and out the other. Like, I watched this and I watched A Serious Man on the same day. And I thought about A Serious Man for like 3 days after watching it, and I totally, like, the only thing I remembered was about this movie was, okay, it's upskirt shot. Okay, this seems like a film Max would assign us. Okay, and then
Oh man, you better watch it, Jeremy.
And by the way, Max is going to come on in about 2 minutes and tell us that we're all wrong, by the way. So,
I was forgetting
I'm
about this
waiting
one.
for that.
I was forgetting about this movie while I was watching it.
But it is so forgettable, and that's Billy and Jeremy and Joe, you're right on. At least in Girl House, I mean, there are things that will it'll stick. There are things that it'll stick with me. I mean, not as much as other powerful films, but this one just doesn't give you.
You'll listen. At least the other ones you could be you could be amused by. This film, it just got it just started to get tedious because you knew everything that was going to happen. I knew, like, as soon as I mean, okay, when is she going to masturbate? When is she going to get naked in the shower? When is she going to have the boyfriend?
Like Howard Cosell, like about 30 seconds before everything happened, I started calling it out. Like, yeah.
And they made like a slew of these movies too in the 90s, like all like The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, like Julia Roberts movies.
Sliver.
What was
like Sliver Light with Sharon Stone and Billy Baldwin.
They made right in the 90s. They made a whole bunch of these fucking types of movies, and it's the same thing with the friend gets killed. So what the single white female, like all that shit,
yeah.
It's all the same fucking shit.
Yeah.
It's amazing that they would try to approach that. Again, the more I think about it, it's fucking insulting.
I was trying to find something interesting in this. I was like, okay, I mean, I think it's kind of interesting how this film is kind of showing, like I know a lot of, like, I see this a lot where, someone will, like, you know how Facebook, you can see, like, everybody's favorite movies and everybody's favorite music, favorite bands and stuff, and, like, I was like, okay, that's kind of, like, using people's likes as a way to, like, things people like as a means of, like, kind of wiggling your way into that person.
Like he did in the movie with the bands and
I thought that was interesting, but I mean, I was really, like, grasping at straws.
Did it to get a girlfriend? He did
exactly
get a girlfriend.
Yeah,
Out of your goddamn mind! This is not interesting to me.
I know. I was trying to find.
But the problem is, it's like as soon as he does that, it's like, all right, when is she going to find out that he knows by underhanded means that she likes this band or whatever? You know what I mean?
What, Skinny?
And it just Yeah, skinny. So
And they keep eating
The
at
other-
that goddamn coffee shop. I swear to God, there are more interesting things to do with your life than stand around talking at a coffee shop.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there that would disagree with you on that one, Bill.
I will lodge one more complaint here. I know you're going to go to Max
Yeah,
here,
Max,
Tom, in
yeah,
a second.
definitely.
One last complaint is the worst thing I hate in friggin' found footage movies is implausible positions of camera or why he would take a camera. Like instead have like their need to explain everything away makes them move cameras or take cameras into spots where it's completely unnecessary. Like, why would he take a camera in to buy another camera? So for what purpose?
I would like to say that was my favorite scene in the movie, the fact that he walks into a office with surveillance experts and they don't notice that there's a camera lens sticking out of his bag.
And then, like, why does he have to ask? Does he have to ask? Do I need a license for this? I could just use it. It's totally legal.
Social commentary.
Yeah, they're saying that anybody could creep you out at any time, man.
I just hate found footage movies. I've never
They're
seen
here.
one. To me, it's just like, I get it. You know, they're cheap to make, and it's a cheap way of making a movie, but they tend to just there's nothing to them most of the time. It's just like staring at a wall.
Jeremy's my new best friend. I'm going to hang out with him, and we're going to go walking on the beach together.
Billy's moving to Ohio.
Yeah, there's plenty of beaches in Ohio.
Beaches there.
Oh, God.
Max, what are you thinking?
What
Quite
am I
simply.
thinking?
What are you
Well,
thinking?
first of all, Jeremy, what was that little crack about a movie that I would assign? What do you mean by that?
Well, I remember on the Fellini episode, you went on a rant, on a tangent about going to xvideos.com looking up upskirt videos. So that's why I said that.
Oh my God!
remember that.
That is a fanboy right there.
Wow.
That's pretty.
I have a weird memory. Like, I remember weird details like that all the time. So
Right.
All right. Well, first off, you're all wrong about this film. The first thing I want to say is Billy delivered, because this was the first idea I had in my head when I saw the film. I'm going to give this to Barassa. And the dude delivered. Hilarious. Brilliant. You nailed it. However, you're all wrong. This is an incredibly effective thriller if you're a woman. Now, I brought this film up to, well, I didn't bring it up. I mean, she already had Netflix on her box up there. But I went up to a house, my female friend, she's an actress, she has stalkers. I showed her this film after dark.
Is it Kari?
I'm not going to say. I showed her this film after dark. She was terrified. Why did I show her the film? Because I want her to use her fucking head. I want her to use her street sense. I want her to come home at night and get out of your girl head and just do a quick security scan of your house. I want to make sure.
Going around, you should-
He's using this as an instruction.
Correct. This
This is a public service announcement.
Exactly. That's how I saw this film, as an unbelievable PSA. That's it. You nailed it. I mean, I can't even imagine. And you bunch of gorillas sitting there thinking you know everything. You don't know what it's like for a chick. You don't know what it's like for a chick living alone who's hot to come home. And how about that scene where she first discovers the cameras? Oh, you have no idea, you bunch of apes.
Yeah, but now your friend's radios and TVs are all smashed because she's been looking for cameras.
Yeah, her house is a mess. She can't keep a neat house because she's paranoid looking through everything all the time, Max.
Hey, listen, at least she's safer. At least she knows. Like, I asked her, what do you have? I went out and bought her mace because she's such a... I'm not gonna, I went out and bought her mace, all right? Because she doesn't have any street smarts. A lot of these chicks walk around out here with their head up their ass. I got a lot of female friends, and I tell them all to watch Alone with Her, and many of them have, and they all come back at me, wow, that opened my eyes. Wow, that's something to think about. Wow, I never considered that before. Wow, I had a creepy boyfriend who was into camera equipment.
Now, Max, you have no association. Look, it's about the voyeur and the peep show thing. So, is really your attraction to this? Do you have any kind of relationship or association with the guy like setting up those cameras? Any kind of secret desire for that type of thing?
Absolutely not. Listen, I once courted the notion of maybe a potty cam, but I quickly killed that.
Oh my god!
I just like watching women pee.
Now that would have been interesting.
Yeah. Well, we got to see Anna pee. Oh my god, Anna Claudia Talancon, the chick. Come on, are you kidding me with her? How beautiful was she? She was unbelievable. Did you see when she came home and she sat down and she pulled her undies down and took a little wee-wee? And then you're looking at it going, ah! At the same time, you're looking through Tom Hanks' son's eyes. But then you're looking through your own eyes. And then you're like, oh, that's really turning me on. And then you're like, I don't want to look at that. That's wrong. This poor thing's in trouble.
Joe, that sounds exactly what your reaction probably was when you were watching.
Not only was that my reaction, but I said it aloud in those exact same words in my living room.
Oh my god! Look,
I'm watching this through Tom Hanks' kid's eyes. Oh my god!
I just love that Max goes without a beat from this is a public service announcement. It's evil. Women should be warned. That girl was so hot. I totally loved looking at her. As there, no cognitive dissonance whatsoever.
I got to work on that.
Joe, I'm assuming every girlfriend that Max has.
Look on your cognitive dissonance.
I'm assuming that every girlfriend that Max has at this point does not put keep a brush next to her bed.
Does not keep a brush?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I don't follow you there, brother.
Meaning that they're afraid to masturbate with a brush in their own bed because they're paranoid that there's cameras in their room.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Well, fine.
Max, are you one of those guys who like you're just walking down the street one day and you see a newspaper in a newsstand and it says a serial killer on the loose reported to be driving a yellow car, and then from then on you're warning all your friends about yellow cars. Every girl you meet, you're saying look out for that yellow car. Like, are you one of these reactionary like daytime news watching kind of guys?
You know
what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. The news has become so distrustful, and I don't know what's real and what's not anymore. So I kind of used to be that guy a little bit. Used to be. I'm kind of always like, I'll be the hero. I'll be the protector. I'm already the host. I'm already the caregiver. I'm already the one making sure all my ladies are doing all right. You know. But yeah, I used to be that guy. But not so much today. I would have to do more investigating. You know. And it's so funny because a lot of my female friends, they don't pay attention to the news. They don't know what the fuck's going on. And these are bright women.
But how about this? Do you do like, you hear a report that that broccoli increases risks of heart disease, and then you tell everyone stop eating broccoli right now?
Absolutely not. No.
You don't
I'm not
react,
that guy. No.
Not that guy.
Not that
You're
guy.
you're not necessarily a worrywart. This film actually genuinely, you felt that it was a worthy public service announcement for your
Correct.
friends.
I felt I needed to show it to a few of my actress friends who have sweated stalkers.
And is this like a thing that is happening with your friends now, is online stalking as well as
It's like well, with one friend in particular, it's like a dude from the past who she used to be friends with, and then all of a sudden his behavior became very unnerving, so she kind of stopped the friendship, and he won't let it go. Like, no matter how many times she says no or ignores, he keeps coming back, and he keeps coming back, and he keeps coming back with, you know, Facebook messages, even though he's been blocked. Well, you got to block him, you know. Run-ins at shows, you know, type things.
Have you had it? Do you have stalkers?
I have. Yes, I have them.
Like,
I have
like
stalkers.
dangerous? Like,
well, it used to be. I used to have a guy who kept sending me my name written out in cocaine, and then he would snort my name, and then he would throw down a gun on a table. What?
Get the fuck out of here! Really?
Oh yeah, and it ruined one of my weekends on the Central Coast because he sent me this video through YouTube or something, like a private. This is, you know, a couple of years ago, and I'm like, oh my god, this guy's gonna fucking kill me. He's gonna come out here and he's gonna kill me, and he's gonna burn my ashes, and he's gonna write my name in my ashes, and he's gonna snort my ashes.
See, that's the kind of imagination we need in these exploitation films, Max.
Yeah. You opened my eyes to the fact that it was an exploitation film, or wannabe one. I didn't even think about that. That's very interesting. And I, for one, am a huge fan of good found footage. I mean, I think Blair Witch Project's one of the best movies, one of my favorite horror films. So I disagree with you guys on found footage.
I do too, Max. I can enjoy a good found footage movie, but most of them are just awful.
That's true. They're all so disappointing, believe me. But
I can get into a found footage movie if it's done proper. What I hate about it is the mechanics of it when they cheat the mechanics. Like this fake static that they put in every couple of seconds.
Yeah, that's like nails on a chalkboard.
It's just fucking so fit. I mean, look, if you want static, throw the camera around. You know what I mean? Like get what actually happens with it, or like set up a situation where when there's not like, how can you have a found footage film and everything's perfectly lit? Like she's got the top light on her. You know what I mean? Everywhere she's going. You know what I mean? Like
that movie cost $1 million.
Yeah, well, that's why what he should have done was take a fucking camera and put it in his bag and chase
this movie of I mean, we all watch so many movies. This movie said to me, "Wow, I could easily make something like this for little to no money," and I was inspired by it. This movie, I'm like, I can do better than this. But I thought it had things when I saw it at the time. I thought it was unnerving. It was like I wasn't chewing on my nails, but I mean, I was into it. And I'm like, I want to make a movie now. I could do this. I could make a movie like this. It was this movie that made me feel that way.
You could easily do that movie, Max. Just make it better. If you do it, just make it better.
All right.
That's all we ask. Do it.
I'll tell you the worst found footage movie I ever found that I ever saw was the one with Jake Gyllenhaal in it, the cop buddy movie. End of Watch. It was supposed to be a found footage movie, but then they put the camera in the back seat where there was nobody to hold the camera. Or
that was a little confusing. I did not understand why they did it that way.
I mean, was it a found footage movie? It was sort of a found footage movie. It was just the fucking worst.
The worst one I've ever seen is this one called Alien Origin. Has anyone seen that?
No. The worst one I've ever seen is Apollo. What was that? Apollo.
I'm gonna have to agree with you on that, Tom. Apollo 18.
Yeah, that was. Boy, did I did an intro for that. I remember I was furious.
Rock spiders.
Alien Origin thought it would be really interesting to just film the jungle for the whole movie and have nothing happen. It was that movie is pretty insufferable. I mean, that's an asylum movie. That's just like a cheapo, like, let's just get a camera and shoot the jungle and then just kind of be like, oh, there's a thing over there, and then that's it. But yeah, that one was insufferable. I'm trying to think of one that I like. I really.
You know what the best found footage movie of all time is? Trash Humpers.
Yeah,
I'm gonna agree with you on that one. That may be the only one that I think is actually a good film and a masterpiece.
Yeah, that's the best.
I haven't seen Visitor Q for a long time, but wasn't that similar? Like,
I don't think it was found footage. No, it was just shot on video.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
cheapo Japanese made-for-TV production.
Have any of you guys ever stalked a woman, and you caught yourself like, wow, I'm really going to the dark side with this?
No.
I haven't either, no.
No one, Tom?
It takes a respectful person.
Not stalking, but, I mean, I'd get, if I broke up with a girl and they started going out with somebody else, I mean, I'd get jealous. I'd think about, I'd get jealous, I guess. But no, I never went and, drove by a house or walked by a house or did anything like that. Oh. I have an uncle that was doing that kind of weird stuff, actually, a few years ago. I had to tell him, I'm like, you can't be doing that. It's just,
holy cow.
It's not healthy. And he was doing it on a nightly basis. Like, she lived like a few blocks from where he lived. And I said to him, I'm like, hey.
There's a lot of anger involved. To get you to go and do that means that you're so angry that you're going to take what you... Oh, my God.
Yeah. Wait, was it an ex?
Yeah, it was an ex. It was an ex, and then she broke it off with him, but didn't tell him why. And he had an inkling that she was with somebody else, and I think he just needed prove that to himself for some reason. So he was constantly
That's
walking
fucked up.
by her house. Yeah, it was. I mean, and he's a great guy and everything. He was just really tortured about this. But I remember telling him, like, dude, you're gonna have to stop doing this. And then he agreed, But it's just so funny, even that a person that does everything normal, mostly normal in life, is just capable of just turning like that and doing something. So
I think all the internet has shown is that relatively normal people in the daytime can be complete monsters with anonymity. Like everyone has that inside of them. The internet just sort of lets it out.
It does.
Well,
Yeah.
it ties into the theme, that's for sure. Joe, your wife, your daughter, Billy, your girlfriend. I mean, do you ever sit them down and check in on like the latest with their security plan? I mean, you guys.
This is awesome.
You need to write a manual or something. Max.
Well, you have to understand. I'm really glad it's so hilarious, but
where's this coming from, Max? Where is this coming from?
it's coming from the fact that my stepdad. Well, my dad was a cop, my stepdad was a cop, and he used to train women. I used to assist him in training seminars in self-defense for women. And I walk around with what's called a Kubaton. It's a black stick that's on my keychain. My mom was attacked in a parking lot of a mall, and she broke a dude's collarbone with this thing.
Oh.
And, my whole fucking life, I had an ex-girlfriend who was raped. She was tied up. She was raped. Her mom was tied up and raped. The mom was raped first. And then the rapist said, now I'm going to get your daughter. And while the mom was tied up, she had to sit and listen to my ex-girlfriend being raped in the other room by this same guy.
Oh.
So there's a lot of that shit going on in my head all the time. And I try to shake it.
I get
But
it.
it's very harrowing.
This is the kind of like worrywart shit that I try not to let myself think about too much, but I live in friggin' New York, it's like it's always right out there on the sidewalk, and I don't think I would go crazy about it, but I think some self-defense classes are in order. I think I think there's a lot of that going on lately, actually. So,
well, Max, do you insist that Nicole perhaps carry something in her purse? What is she doing? What is your wife doing? What do you suggest to your wife as far as precautions and security are concerned?
Well, first off, I got her a Kubaton, so she has it. She knows how to use it. She knows what to do. She knows if she's going to the parking structure late at night, she has someone walk her to her car.
Okay.
If by chance she can't find anyone to do it, she knows to look in the back seat. Simple as that. My wife has street smarts. My wife works in a very high-profile place that is a mass target for terrorists out here, believe me. I mean, she's involved in security, she's involved in HR, she's involved in all kinds of things, but she works on a very high-profile property that is vulnerable to attacks. Now, I'm not sitting around freaking the fuck out day after day after day about how she's doing out there in the world. I'm more worried about her driving skills because she has a bit of the road rage. And I say to her, like, don't you ever flip off anyone, no matter how angry you get. Never, because she used to flip birds to dudes who would cut her off or whatever. And here's this little petite porcelain thing driving behind the wheel, and this is a psychotic fucking world, and this is a crime-riddled fucking town, and it's getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So I'm just asking everyone to just once in a while check in with their ladies, check in with their security plan, check in with their street smarts, watch Alone with Her, and just say, if you're dating a really creepy guy, you got to cut it loose, change the locks, use your brain. Oh!
Joe, are you now going to watch Alone with Her with your wife
and my daughter
and your daughter Lily? Yeah,
and my female dog. Yes.
Yeah, right, and the female dog.
Yeah, look, I know you need to be cautious, but you need to live your life with some semblance of levity. That you can't be there. I think that some people are prone to disproportionate concerns about how nasty the world actually is. And I think that that's fed by a lot of mass media stuff. And I think, Max, you might be kind of feeding it. You might be suffering from that a
victim
little bit.
of the "if it bleeds, it leads" culture.
What
think
happened
so.
to Jeremy?
He's more concerned about Jeremy. He
He's-
dropped
He
out.
ran off. He ran off to buy a copy of that film to show all of his female friends.
He probably went to go give his mother some mace.
Can I a little?
Listen, Joe, I appreciate what you're saying, but you're making me sound like a maniac, and you're a guy who wears beads around your neck. It's just a different philosophy.
Well, I
I don't
you're
live on a
exactly
lake
right.
and,
But
you know,
you're
hey,
exactly
man, it's
right.
all
You're-
good. It's all groovy, man.
Well,
I'm
that's
out here
true.
with the trees and the breeze and the lake.
What
I don't
you're
have
saying-
that. I am surrounded by psychotic, pissing homeless people and crimes and break-ins and,
Yeah,
and
he's got
gang-
Richard.
You said you have a whole different philosophy, and that's exactly what it is. It's just a way of viewing the world. So it's the emphasis and the light.
Yeah, but I've
upon
never
which you-
liked the world. I've never liked it. It's never impressed me.
You're the only one who suffers from that.
I'm not the only one who suffers from not liking.
But I mean, you're the only one who suffers from your out from your dislike. You know what I mean? It's not like you're punishing the world. I don't know who you know. It's self perpetuating. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you're the only one who suffers from disliking the world, but the sort of the view that you're
Who's making all that noise? Who's fumbling around? Garcia,
See his
What?
bag
What are you
making
doing?
noises.
what are you fumbling around with?
I'm not fumbling. I'm just sitting here.
All right, I heard fumbling.
This is a no fumble zone, so it's all right.
You're telling me your mommy? Don't you sit your mommy down and have a security plan? She's surrounded by dope fiends. You gotta protect your mom. You're the man of the house.
Oh yeah, of
What's
course.
your plan? You got a baseball bat under the bed? I do. I have a giant knife under my bed.
My God.
I used to carry a knife, but no, there was this time at the mall. There was this time at
The mall?
yeah, where this creepy guy apparently went up to my mom and was like, "You have nice toes," and I was like, "Yeah, this ain't gonna happen." So
Oh, good. So what'd you do? You stood up to him?
well, yeah, I got her out of there. We got out of there quickly, and like she was like, "He's following me," and then I walked up next to her and just kind of shot.
toes. Go get a Cinnabon, you fuck. Get the fuck out of here.
You know what Jeremy
Yeah.
did? You know what Jeremy did to make the guy go away? He showed him his toes.
Yeah, my hairy weirdo.
Man toes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh god. Yeah. So.
Jeremy, are you hygienic?
Yeah.
Ugh,
Yeah,
I don't like
I-
that answer.
I would say I'm hygienic. Like I said the last time I was on here, I also use the booty butt wipes because
Okay.
I get really self-conscious about my sweatiness and my smelliness down there.
Good. That's good.
Tom, weren't you afraid we were going to go through the whole season without discussing
I think
booty?
what's
butt wipes?
interesting is that Max in his world is like he's doing things that it amazes me. He's turning people on to security via movies like Alone with Her. This kid is now turned
He's
on
got
to
a knife
booty
under
butt
his bed.
wipes. Yes.
I used them before I discovered the show, but I've called them booty butt wipes since I've discovered the show. But
Yeah.
I used before I discovered the show.
All I'm going to say is everyone's going to
He's
appreciate
spreading
me
the
when I'm
good
dead.
word.
Once I'm
The
dead,
gospel of Max.
that's when I'll be appreciated.
Spreading the good word.
The gospel of
He's
Max.
just trying to help, Joe.
He's very helpful.
He wants you to be the better.
He's helping the same way Chicken Little helped. The sky is falling. The sky is falling.
I forgot about
I don't
that.
think the sky is falling, and I actually have a lot of fun in life. But Jeremy, we got to get you on a schedule. We got to make sure you're bathing every day, and we got to get you a job at the grocery store. And then you're going to start to make a documentary about your friends at the grocery store. So you'll be creative as well.
Yeah, just listen, Jeremy. Listen to me. Listen to Max. He'll do wonders for you.
No one listens to me, and that's why they're where they are.
What was that one show we called the healing power of ridicule?
All right, guys. I'm going to get ready to say goodbye in a minute, but I just want to thank everyone real quick for their incredibly hard work this season. I had so much fun with Joe and Billy. Max, Jeremy, Adam Shoulder, Dave Pace, Jeff Schreck. Everybody puts in such a great effort, and they do a sensational job. And I just want to make sure everybody has a wonderful summer. And I just simply want to say thank you, and I love you all, and I really appreciate the time that we have here together, for better or for worse, Joe.
Tom, is it a rough one for you? This
is
volume?
By far the roughest patch I've ever had. By far, I mean it's I don't know. I don't know what it was.
It's unavoidable, though, Tom. When you share your circumstances, I mean, you have.
I should have learned that from you a long time ago, but I didn't. But I understand now very much so why you were, little rattled a little bit, and you got over it. Now I'm like at where you were a couple of years ago, and I'm trying to figure it out and get over the hump and learn how to make it work for everybody,
You got a whole summer to think.
You're having a pretty good time when Joe was on the receiving end, weren't you?
Yeah.
He was having a blast. Yeah. Well, nobody wants to be the middle piece in the centipede. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
I mean, that's definitely a fact. But I do, once again, I really love you guys, and I'm going to miss talking to you guys over the summer. And I want to assure all of our listeners that we'll probably pop on a couple of times during the summer and give you a mini episode here and there. I know Joe has an idea. I'm sure we all have a little idea where we could pop on for 30, 40 minutes and talk about a movie to keep things fresh. But also know that we'll release some of our old Horror Palace stuff over the summer as well. We're going to be breaking them up, and we were breaking them up into halves. I'm thinking that, Joe, we might have to break them up into thirds now. I think that might be a good idea. But you're going to get.
I think some of them are like 4 hours.
Right,
long.
You're going to get a lot of cool stuff. I know there's, the infamous Deliverance episode is on its way, Billy. That's not out there, and there's all kinds of other really cool stuff. We do Italian horror, and I think has Herzog been out yet? I don't know if we released that.
I think half of that went out. We'll check our schedule and see what's out.
Right. So we got some really cool stuff coming up for you over the summer and everything. And I'm going to miss everybody. And I want to thank the listeners for checking in and being with us for these 5 seasons. I mean, it's amazing that we're approaching our 100th episode. I mean, our 100th full episode. I mean, we've definitely done over 100 episodes, which is outstanding, including our mini episodes.
That's right.
But to do 100 full episodes is quite a landmark, Joe, and it's really something to be proud of.
Yeah, that's proud or terribly depressed about.
Fair enough. Well, listen, guys, have a wonderful summer, and I'll see you all again soon. The Cutting Room Movie Podcast is brought to you by...
Good job, Tom. Hey, and I just want to say good job on everything, and you're doing a good job faring under the pressures of life, and Max.
Oh, come on. It's all from a place of love, and he knows it.
I do. I get it. It's all for entertainment, Joe. The Cutting Room Movie Podcast is brought to you by Christiana Productions and New Media Limited. The show is edited and co-produced by Joseph Schreck and produced by Thomas Detloff and Joe Christiana. We'd also like to thank our associate producer who's here with us. So let's give him a big thank you. Thank you, Jeremy Garcia of Dartboard Cinema, for helping us out. You can like us on Facebook at the Cutting Room Movie Podcast, and follow us on Twitter at Cutting Room Podcast at TCRMP1. And you can follow me on Twitter, Thomas Detloff at TCRM Podcast. You can also check out Joe's film work at ChristianaProductions.com. Check out Adam's new show, Starland PC, at StarlandPC.com. And check out Max and Adam's Bowler Hat Productions and their Mimosa Podcast show at MaxCook.com. But Max, we're moving away from the bowler hat, right? For the most part, are you leaving that behind officially? I'm very curious because is there anything bowler hat related coming out in the future?
No, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think Adam is definitely on his own path, and I'm on my own path with Max Cook Uncorked. So probably down the road we might want to kill that. But what I'd really love to do is to get Gramps Beneath the Surface online, and I think that is an unsung.
It's a good idea.
work of art that we made together. It's one of the few things I'm really proud of, and I think more people need to see it. So we've been talking about that. But yeah, I mean, as far as Mimosa goes, as far as, you know, there's always party talk, but honestly, Adam has a very intense schedule, much worse than mine. And, you know, I mean, my God, when I saw him for Human Centipede Day, I think it was the first time I'd actually physically seen him in months.
Wow.
So it's just how it is. It's just a time thing. If we had all the time in the world, oh my God, we'd be working together all the time.
Can I be honest with you? I would love to see Adam just once, Max, just one time in my life.
I know, Tom.
You will. I mean, I hope so.
He has such a good aura, Adam.
He does.
You know, when I walked into Max's apartment, the first thing I thought was, this is a really nice guy, this Adam. He's just a good guy to hang out with.
Yes. He's a great guy.
I'm going to email him tomorrow.
You should.
I'm going to set up cameras in his house.
Max, though... he's online. Sorry.
All right, so listen, check out Max Cook and the Counselor at maxcookandthecounselor.com. And check out Max's blog at maxcookuncork.com. Max, real quick, for the summer, I mean, do we have some exciting stuff coming up over there?
As far as the blog?
Yeah, man.
Oh, the blog's always hopping.
It's ripping and roaring, man.
Jump on, watch videos. I'm always posting shit up there. I'm having a blast with that. It's all about me and my shit and making my friends stars, and I'm going to be doing a lot of travel this summer. I'm going to be going to Vegas at the end of the month, reluctantly, but I'm going to try to make some things happen out there, video-wise. It'll be fun.
Nice. MaxCookUncork.com. Music from The Cutting Room is done by the Zillatones. Check them out at www.thezillatones.com or search for the Zillatones at ReverbNation.com. We'll be back in September with brand new episodes of the Cutting Room movie podcast. So until then, my heart is just, Joe, it's so sad to say goodbye, but
such sweet
we'll be back. We'll be back in the fall. Until then, we're over. We're out. Ciao.
Tune in next time to satisfy more of your strange desires. The Cutting Room Movie Podcast. We do chicken right.